Hello, darlings, and welcome back to CareOffBook. It's me, Care Darling, and today we are talking about Snow White, the live-action 2025 Snow White. It's on Disney Plus. You can watch it. And just a heads up, if you hear music in the background, there's an event happening, and I know you're probably like, Care, go, dance, have fun. I really want to talk about Snow White though, because I've got thoughts, right? And I had so much thoughts when watching the movie. I have 5 pages of notes on it. And I guess, listen, Disney tried, right? But were they successful? In short, no. But before we get into the movie, let's just reflect some of the backlash that was going on before the movie even came out. So Rachel Zegler said some things on her press tour that rubbed people the wrong way.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937.
Another thing was when the poster came out for the movie, people were not happy with how the dwarves looked because they look completely different and they were CGI. They even changed the story structure, delayed the film, reshot it, and let's not even start with the Mark Platt stuff. But let's pause there because I wanted to watch this with open eyes. Like, okay, Disney, show me what you've got. And I actually was delighted because the movie opened up with the book, right? The storybook, similar to the animated movie. Also similar to other animated Disney movies like Cinderella, Sword in the Stone, Sleeping Beauty. I just thought it was a nice nod to the animated movie. Okay, this is semi-embarrassing. I thought in the beginning, we hear the narrator, right? I thought it was Gal Gadot. I was like, what are they doing with her voice? And it sounds weird. It's not her, so we will get to who is it that is actually telling the story. Let's get into the fairest of them all thing. I think they were trying to redefine fair as in kind or just, not beautiful. And I get the intention, but it doesn't land. The queen was always obsessed with beauty. That was her whole thing. So when the mirror says someone else is fairer, it's about looks. You can't suddenly switch it to fair as in just and compassionate when the villain clearly isn't those things. It's a storytelling loophole that doesn't really work. I did like, however, they explained how Snow White got her name, and it was that she was born on a very snowy day. So I was like, okay, that's a great loophole to have. But then to be like, oh, fair means like good and just. How was the queen able to be fair for all of these years? She's not those things. Like, she clearly is talking about beauty and her looks. The opening song was Good Things Grow, and overall, I didn't want an opening number like Belle. I wanted a spoken narration and wanted the story to show, not just dance about it. Now, I did like the costumes in the opening. The royal family looked like they actually cared about the people. They looked like they matched the people, but elevated. So when the new queen comes in, she looks fully removed, draped in black. The contrast was great, and the mirror's voice, it's the guy from Hadestown. Yes, Patrick Page. I got excited thinking, ooh, is he gonna sing? Spoiler, no. He doesn't have a song, which I think is a missed opportunity. When it comes to the queen's powers though, what are they? I wanted a little explanation. Is she magic because she has a spell book? Is it on her own? Is she just evil with flair? Like, give me something, anything. Come on, really? Okay, listen. This queen, who gave Gal Gadot this role? Because to me, I want to see the audition tapes. I want to see what was it about Gal Gadot where they were like, yep, she's perfect for this, because I just do not believe that this queen is evil. One, as far as the direction, they're not showing us how evil she is. It's like, oh my gosh, she's so evil, she wears black. It's, oh my gosh, that I'm evil. And then it's like when she's like, oh, I am serving them evil, here we go. What did you say? Like, to her, it's like, I'm just gonna have my voice be low. Like, she's doing the mechanics of, see, I can be evil. Excuse you? And then she does these jerky moves, right? What? And it just, like I said, it just feels mechanical. It's very superficial. And I do blame as far as the direction where I'm like, show us that she's evil. Show us that she manipulates Snow White. And like, there's so many different things where I'm like, play it as if you make Snow White feel like she's dumb and incapable, and then we see her be like, no, this is who I am this whole time. And then it's like, go Snow, hey, right? What did you say? I'm done. So the opening is showing, right? She lost her mother, she lost her father, and they actually show Snow White, like, her hair be cut, and there's zero emotion, zero manipulation. Like, Snow just lets it happen. I needed more tension, more feeling, more passion. Like, yeah, I just wanted there to be more manipulation from the queen, so then you can understand why Snow White trusts her. And could it be that she trusts her because she saw how much her father trusts her? Think like Entangled, right? Rapunzel didn't see anything wrong with her mom until, like, she was out in the real world and she started to see things unfold. So I wish there was something like that, but for like Snow White to be like pushed into becoming a servant, it just didn't make sense of why she would go along. Like, why did she feel helpless? Like, you hear the thing about an elephant, right? Where they have the baby elephant and the ropes around it and they put the spike in and the baby elephant fights it and can't go. But then as the baby elephant grows into a big elephant, it doesn't even fight this, rope and peg anymore because it has a belief that they can't do it, even though they absolutely can. So why in the story didn't they do that for Snow White? There's a meet cute with Jonathan and it felt rushed. Like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I love it that in the cartoon the prince comes in and just busts out singing a song along with Snow White. And she's like, oh, and runs off, right? I know it's dumb, but I like it, okay? So in this live action, it's almost like, yeah, Jonathan and Snow meet, and it's like, I'm a boss of bandits, and she's like, cool, let's vibe, and it's just like, oh, okay. Like, there really isn't a spark there, but listen, we'll talk about their relationship as the movie, unfolds. I did like the flower versus the jewel metaphor from the queen. That had potential, but then they dropped it, okay? And nothing came of it. Also, I thought Jonathan was a secret prince. I was fully ready for a reveal, but nope, he's just a guy who gets captured a lot. So Snow ends up saving Jonathan, which leads to the mirror revealing that she's now the fairest of them all. Naturally, the queen doesn't take that well and sends the huntsman to kill her. By the way, darlings, the want song does happen and it's called Waiting on a Wish. And Rachel Zegler, she's so good. Like, listen, she's the best part of this movie. So that's why I think it's absolutely crazy that they kind of used her as a scapegoat. They really did. That's just my opinion. But going back to this song, I don't think it was a good want song. And if you're like, what's a want song? I am more than happy to share that with you. So let's use Little Mermaid. Part of your world is the want song, where you learn that Ariel wants to be part of that world. Yes, she wants to, learn about these things in the human world. And you're like, okay, that's tangible, that's doable. And you see pretty much her journey unfold. Another example is in Wicked, when we're hearing the song The Wizard and I, right? With Elphaba, it's like, oh my gosh, her dream to meet the wizard. And then even in the song, she says something like, the wizard might say to her, do you mind if I degreenify you? And the whole point is her just saying, like, I'm going to be somebody, I'm going to be so much more than where I am right now, right? So these are almost like, this is what I want, this is my dream. So then to hear the lyrics even going, waiting on a wish, and I'm here going like, okay, what's the wish? And I was finding myself lost. Like, okay, so she wants to be her father's daughter. Like, she wants to lead and then she lacks the confidence. Maybe that's the want. But it just felt, it felt kind of like, okay, like it sounds like Snow's having an identity crisis, and then they didn't even show anything to help us understand why she might feel this way or might not have this confidence, right? So it's like, all right. And then how it was shot, I just thought it was really lazy, where it's like, okay, Snow is cleaning, but then I'm like, she's not really cleaning. Like, she's not doing a lot. It's almost like and singing and pose. So I didn't really like the direction. Also, something, I'm so sorry that I didn't even mention this, but the music was actually created by the same guys that did The Greatest Showman. So the songs aren't terrible. It's just, I did not understand the emotional and narrative ties with the song and the story. Let's talk about the huntsman for a second. He decides not to go through with it because Snow is just too kind. Fine, I'll accept that. But then he drops a bomb. Your stepmother is the reason your father is dead. I mean, excuse me, sir, you can't just throw that out there and then immediately yell, run. Like, explain. Give her 5 seconds to process, but nope, just a dramatic scream and off she goes. And I wrote, the forest? Really? Like that? You guys, what in the acid trip was going on with the forest? Now, okay, I'm not gonna lie, it was really cool, but okay, when the animated version of Snow White did it, it was more like, wow, look what we can do as far as animation. So it was really cool to see it. But today, I'm like, okay, I actually have a question. Is the forest actually like this? Or like, is it just her imagination? And like, with Snow White running around the forest, it was her imagination on it. And so to me, I'm like, okay, well, Snow White's been inside of the castle, right? She never truly explored, maybe within the town, but not the forest. And I'm like, dang, I wish there were like things happening where the queen's like, don't go through the forest, like it'll get you just like it got your father once the, you know, like there's something where it's like Snow has like a huge fear, like she's not brave, and that's part of her necklace, right? So then it's like we see her go through this where it's like, no, like Snow, like you really are a leader, you are this amazing woman, and like you're just being manipulated. But anyways, yeah, that's my thought as far as the forest. I'm like, is the forest actually like that, or is this her imagination? I need an answer. This should be this big emotional moment, right? But it's not. And I wish she cried when the animals appeared, like finally realizing she's safe after being chased through trauma trees. But nothing. Still, the turtle was super cute. And that cottage though, oh, adorable. I'm not gonna lie, it is my dream to live in a cottage. Like my dream is to have something that looks like a cottage, but then when you come inside, it's like very modern but warm. I don't know, like I just think it was beautiful. It's a dream, okay? Then we meet the dwarfs, and I'm sorry, but their intro was underwhelming. I have to say the song was interesting because it was a mix, right? Because it had the hi ho, ha ha, ha 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 ha. So it had that, and then even in the mix of it, it was like we dig 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 dig. I don't know what it is about that song, but in the animated version, I was like, yeah, let's go. There's something about it that I'm like, let the beat drop. But how they kind of made this song, it was almost like roll call, like who's who with the dwarves, and I guess they wanted the personalities to come out more, but I was like, listen, their names already say it for us, right? And we see it on the beds later. Like I just felt like they put a lot of time in this and it wasn't necessary. And also just something I thought was weird, okay, was that I felt like their working shift was very short, because in the animated version, right, we are going into the cave and they've been working, but in the live action we see them go into the cave and then they are done working and they leave, and I was like, ugh, I just didn't care for their intro. I wanted the song to kind of like hurry up. Oh, also, last thing, I thought their voices didn't match the singing voices, right? Like if they sang individually, fine, but then when the chorus happened, I was like, okay, this sounds way too nice and polished and good, especially when they sing and talk. It's very character-driven voices. The animated version had charm. This just felt flat, but later it does get better. I will give it that. I liked that Doc was offering to let Snow stay, and Grumpy, well, he actually made some valid points about why she shouldn't be there. And shout out to the CGI for distracting me at every turn. Then there's the song All Is Fair. I mean, it's fine, but I can't lie. Gal Gadot singing as the evil queen didn't give what it needed to give. Like, where's the villain diva? Give me Idina, you know what I mean? Like someone who can sing and act menacing. Okay, I just finished the All Is Fair with Gal Gadot. Here's the thing, the song slaps. That's a great song. It's just, she just sang the song. She does not have the musical theater skills to the point where the chorus was like dominating around her. And it's like, that's when you could truly see the difference. And I'm just like, I wish there was a different, oh my gosh, can you imagine if it was Jennifer Simard doing this role, or if it was another like musical theater? I mean, even, listen, don't hate me, Patti LuPone, put Patti LuPone in this. It just shows that there is a difference between just singing a song and musical theater. And there's even points where like there was a cool rhythmic thing where I'm like, oh, with the right diction and kind of like, ooh, to it, it would have sounded cool, but then it just sounded sloppy. Oh my gosh, imagine Bernadette Peters even doing this. I don't know. You tell me which queen you would have preferred to see. Even Titus Burgess probably would have been a better evil queen to me. But whatever. All right, those are my thoughts on the song. Great song, bad execution. This is why it is important to know what musical theater is. It is not just singing a song. There's a whole moment where the dwarves tease Dopey for not speaking, and I kept hoping they'd connect that to how the queen treats Snow White, as if she's not capable. There's a parallel there, but it doesn't happen. Nonetheless, Dopey and Snow White bond, and since he can't speak, she teaches him to whistle, and it goes into whistle while you work. And you know what? I'm actually glad that the dwarves are cleaning their own house. In the animated Snow White, it's the animals, so I thought that was fair. It's then the next day, snow is off, and guess what? We're back to Jonathan, and they meet up, and he sings Princess Problems. And I was over it. The man was saved by Snow White and still finds time to mock her. If they really wanted to sell this romance, it needed depth or charm or anything. Okay, so we meet the guy. Is he whatever? His name is Jonathan. Is he a prince? Is he just the prince of the bandits? He's the boss, whatever it is. Did he completely forget that Snow White saved his life and that was like a good moment between them? And then he sings Princess Problems. And it's just like, hello? Like, I guess in my head, I'm like, I wish he was a prince. And then she discovers that, because then he's like, this is how we have something in common. And then he sings about prince problems, right? About him being seen as someone privileged, but then trying to be helpful and whatever, right? So then it's more like about his journey versus being like, how does it feel to be a princess? Why don't you talk to the queen? It's like, did you not meet the queen? Were you not there when she was trying and the queen wasn't listening? And the fact she just told you that the queen is trying to kill her? Hello? It's just so weird. Thanks a lot, Jonathan. Oh, and then Jonathan gets shot with an arrow. I mean, he's fine. I mean, Doc thinks he's dead, and that part was funny. Then bam, everyone's dancing. 5 minutes after the arrow, we're singing and twirling under fairy lights. The love song Hand Meets a Hand was cute visually. I mean, it had fireflies, but again, it lacked emotional build. If they had danced into it naturally, like, oh no, we're dancing together and catching feelings, that would have worked. Instead, it felt too obviously staged. So there comes a point where Jonathan and the bandits need to split, and Snow White gives her necklace, and I thought that was actually a really lovely touch because the necklace was given from her father before, he was gone. And so I like the fact that she gave it to him and she said, this isn't a gift, it's for you to return to me. So I actually did like this in the story. Then we get into the final act and the queen drinks the potion. But before she actually drinks the potion, she has a little song. And I was like, ugh, like, darlings, you know how I feel about that. Like, to me, I'm like, just give me the song. And I think you know what it is. This is what I mean about placement of songs. Like, the point of having a song is to help propel the story or help you understand the character. And whenever they put little, like, oh, there's a little song in here, it's almost as if it's stopping you from whatever the story's like trying to get to, right? So I'm like, oh, here comes the potion. I'm like, oh, wait, before we do that, let the queen have a song. Or also, to understand the musical theater format, having little bits of a song only makes sense if it comes from a big number. And the reason why they may have this motif or something come in is because it's either finally happening for them or it's the absolute opposite of what they wanted to go on, right? So the fact that they just added this song, I was like, oh, this makes no sense for this character at all. It's not even a piece of her all is fair kind of thing, right? It was just like, we're gonna make this the potion song. No. Here it is, the transformation into the peddler woman. Weak, it's all CGI. It doesn't even feel creepy. I wish they used an actual actress with prosthetics, like making it gross, make it memorable. Hold on, what is happening? Okay, so the thing about the animated Snow White that was so cool, right, is when the evil queen goes and she has her transformation. She goes to her spell book and she puts it all together, and the instruments are matching with like the wind and the lightning. And then you see, by the way, I'm literally at the part where she's drinking the cup, but there's a whole buildup of her creating this potion. And in here, it's like a random time to sing. And I roll my eyes so many times in this movie. And so I roll my eyes, and then she sings a bit about, oh, I'm doing this to age, whatever. And then she drinks the potion. I'm like, already, I will film my reaction. But already I was like, wait a minute, what happens to the part where, oh wait, no, I guess you're right, is that she creates the potion to put Snow White to sleep. So I will record my reaction to that. But yeah, I guess we'll see the transformation, but already I'm kind of like, boo. Okay, we have the headphones in. We are watching the creation of the sleeping death potion. Let's see. I'm going to be talking. I don't know what copyright's going to be like, but we'll do our best. All right, we're seeing the bubbly green apple, the sleeping death. Okay. They showed the antidote right away. Like, that's supposed to be the reveal where she's like, what? Because she thought it was, bulletproof. And then she's like, nah, that's not going to be a problem. And then it is a problem later. All right. Stuff with Jonathan. Oh, okay. There's a callback to the skeleton there from the animated. Okay. That's it? Oh, okay. Here comes the Alp. Come on, show the skull. They did it, but I mean the anime. Oh no, she's still singing? It just makes it not cool. Oh no. That's it though? This is just disappointing. Just okay. When she gives Snow the apple, the manipulation was decent as far as with the necklace, right? Where it's like, how'd you get that necklace? Oh, Jonathan told me to give it to you. So she makes her think Jonathan's gone. But then as far as the bite, it didn't sell. And the apple didn't even look that good. I did like that the vultures were on the roof though. Like, I thought that was very symbolic, like death is coming, death is near. So I did love that. Now buckle up, darlings, because I wish there was a pie callback. Now, if you know the animated version, right? Snow decides to make a pie for Grumpy. I love that part, right? I don't care if the birds did their thing around the pie. Like, I'm like, I would still eat that crust. Like, it was so fun and like, for me, I don't know, there was something so relaxing seeing Snow make a pie. So I wish that was kind of brought into the live action where Snow decides to make a pie for, whether it's for Grumpy or Dopey or even like, oh, for Jonathan when he comes back, like something where she's like, because even in the movie earlier, she says to the queen, the people and the royal family would do pies, and the queen shuts it down. So it's like, okay, here's Snow like trying to make apple pie, but then the witch could have been like, and here's the perfect apple for the apple pie. So then it actually was more reason for Snow to try, the apple, because the peddler woman could have said like, it's the best apple in the land, try it, right? So yeah, it happens. Snow eats it. She dies. She's put in a glass case. Everyone's around her. And what stood out to me is that Jonathan does come to see Snow White and he kisses her, which breaks the sleeping curse. I found it especially interesting because Rachel Zegler has said this isn't your typical princess story. It's not about a man saving her.
And we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
She's
is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
But if we're being honest, technically there were 8 men involved, like Jonathan and the 7 dwarves standing by. Then we get to the big final moment. Snow White stands up to the queen at the kingdom. The queen makes yet another cryptic reference about a rose and magically turns the jewels into some kind of sword, giving Snow White the chance to strike her down. But of course, in classic Disney fashion, Snow doesn't go through with it. So the queen called her bluff, right? And she's like, guards, get her. And then she's like, all right, her, like, she's done. And I did like this part because then Snow was able to start naming the people. And she was like, my father has always taught me to know your people, know the name, right? Now, here's the thing. Why didn't they do that in the opening? Why didn't they actually show this lesson happen? Like, give us breadcrumbs in the beginning that then goes throughout the story. So then you're like, Snow, you are becoming like a daughter that your father is proud of. Like, you learned these lessons, right? So I did like the fact that she's like, I know these people, I know them. So then ultimately they're like, we can't listen to this queen. Like, it's just not right. This upsets the queen. Then the queen smashes the mirror and that's her end. Like, really? That mirror was her whole personality and it just goes to pieces. Where was the punishment that matched the crime? Snow even says earlier that punishment should match the offense. So give the queen something that really makes her suffer. Show the world her true self. Make her face her ugliness. Instead, we get some glass shards and dramatic wind. I know that the story structures are different between the two films, but the fact that the queen died falling off of a rock as the peddler woman, like, to me, that is a huge punishment. But the fact, like I said, she just goes and breaks the mirror and the mirror consumes her and that's it. I was like, I don't know. I thought it could have been better. So everything is joyous and right again. And guess what? Surprise! Dopey was the narrator this whole time, which is sweet. Like a little unexpected, but I like that he found his voice. Although, why did he sound like Gal Gadot? The ending is all the characters in white singing as petals fall, and all I could think was it should have been Snow. Like, when we think of, other Disney princesses and how things end, like, I don't remember any of them having like snow cascading and things like that. Like, that would have made sense to me where, that's how she was born, that's part of her name. And I just thought that would have been a like prettier, like, oh wow, this is what makes Snow different than the other princesses, right? So yeah, I didn't hate it. It wasn't terrible. Some of the songs had potential, some of the visuals were stunning, but overall, the writing was weak. The character development wasn't there. The choices felt surface level. So after watching the movie, I'm so glad that Disney is taking a step back from making live action movies. And if you saw the episode, right, I was like, I can't even go to the theaters to watch this. Like, it's a cash grab and they don't care about the material. And it makes you wonder, like, okay, let's look at the other Disney live action movies. What worked and what didn't? And I would say the ones I liked was like Maleficent, Cruella, Cinderella, I did like a lot. And I felt it's because we know these stories so well, but we want to see a different perspective, or we want to see things added to it, not taken away. And then when they were going through the Disney Renaissance, like trying to make them all, live action, they took a lot of, what made the animated series so great. Like, when I think of Little Mermaid, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it, but then I was like, where's the color? Like, why didn't we go into like, let Little Mermaid be bright? Let us see her red hair, right? Aladdin, I absolutely hate Aladdin. I watched it once in the theaters and I left so angry. Beauty and the Beast, I did like. Actually, I felt like the belle dress could have been better. But those are a lot of thoughts. We can always create episodes around it. If you're interested, you can let me know. Ooh, so get this though. Disney actually brought back one of their legendary animators, Mark Henn, out of retirement to teach newer artists how to do proper 2D animation again. He worked on Belle, Jasmine, Mulan, all the big names. Since most of today's animators are trained in CG, Disney started this internal program to kind of revive those classic hand-drawn skills, and Mark came in to mentor them. I just think that's so cool. Like, they're literally reaching back into their legacy to try and bring that old school fairy tale magic back. Anyways, darlings, that's it for today's episode. I would love to know your thoughts on the movie. I'm kind of scared about Lilo and Stitch. I'm thinking about doing that, but we'll see. Anyways, if you enjoy musicals, Disney, and other performances, you've come to the right place, all right? I also love recommendations. So if you know any movie musicals, pro shots out there to talk about, I know that, oh my gosh, actually Frozen, the pro shots on Disney Plus. So I'm definitely going to be doing that soon. Anyways, you've come to the right place, all right? So don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Take care, darling.